Well, I hope that everybody's made the jump over into this session with me. KNX IoT is a new addition to the suite of KNX protocols using Internet Protocol v6, that's IPv6 as the transport. Cascoda has developed a comprehensive development kit for KNX IoT, and in this presentation, we're going to introduce the ChiliCuisine. ChiliCuisine is a low-code technology that generates KNX IoT code from KNX data points and parameters to connect peripherals to KNX IoT infrastructure. And this has a lot of benefits, including increasing code and documentation quality, reduced development time. KNX data points and parameters can translate to working products, and it generates executable and MT files to work with ETS. It's also going to reduce the complexity and concentrate on tasks, but that's, all going to be covered by Bruno, and I'd like to welcome Bruno Johnson, CEO of Cascoda.
Hello, my name is Bruno Johnson, CEO of Cascoda, and it is a pleasure to be here today. So today we're going to be talking about ChiliCuisine, the low-code development environment for KNX IoT. So let's get into it. During device development, what is our ultimate goal? Well, that is to design and implement a device and test it as end users would use it. So what is this process? Well, we have the design process, defining the product, software creation and hardware selection and creation, and then the implementation process, creating the firmware that will compile and run on the hardware, and the manufacturing tool data, a necessary part of KNX development, that is required to configure a KNX device using the KNX configuration tool ETS. Then we can test and evaluate the device and repeat this process iteratively until we have something that we're happy with. Now, all of this takes time, and of course time is money. So how do we speed up this process? Well, first of all, we need hardware and software tools that are necessary for this development. Now, fortunately, Cascoda has developed a KNX IoT development kit that provides you everything you need to develop KNX IoT over the popular thread radio frequency protocol. It includes a thread border router and 2 KNX IoT development boards. But we also need the software tools. And this is the KNX tooling, the manufacturing tool and the configuration tool ETS to configure the installation. So let's take a look at the hardware, the development board. This is really a mix and match product. It uses the microelectronica microbus click boards. Now, this is an interface that provides over 1,500 click boards that are readily available worldwide through distributors. And this supports just about every sensor and actuator chipset that's out there and popular at the moment. The bus contains I2C, UART, GPIOs, SPI, A to D inputs, and so on. The other features that we have on this board are 4 buttons and LEDs integrated, and this aids with application control, and these are fully programmable for different functionality. We also have e-paper display integration and a graphics library to go around it, and of course power management. You can power this from USB, battery, an external power supply, and we've even got a lithium polymer battery charger built in, so you can run this from rechargeable lithium polymer batteries. But of course we need the firmware for such a KNX IoT device. And there's lots of code needed to make a IoT device. Of course there's your application code with functional logic, but you also need the data point API code with the associated parameters. You need the KNX IoT stack, which of course needs to be ported to the relevant hardware, in this case the Cascoda Chili module. the board support package, including thread, and all the tools around it to compile. The things in green are your business, but you really don't need to know about the things in red to create a KNX IoT device based on thread. So this is where ChiliCuisine comes in. It's a low-code approach. It generates as much of the code as possible for you. That means that you only need to write the meaningful things. It reduces the manual input, so less manual code is written, and you concentrate only on what matters. In other words, what the device needs to do. We reuse input for other purposes, so the manufacturing tool files and documentation get generated for you. So one can achieve reduced complexity, avoid the repetitive tasks, increase code quality, increase documentation quality, and vastly improve your turnaround time. And ChiliCuisine is extremely easy to use. It runs on GitHub, and that means there's full version control available for repeatability. The input file is a single JSON file. JSON is a very common, well understood, and easy to understand text-based file. And additional C code, your additional C code, can be added with libraries. Then with a pull request on GitHub, we generate the application code, compile and link, and the results are created as assets which you can download and use. So this delivers firmware for the Chili boards based on the Chili module. In other words, you don't need to have the build environment. A Windows virtual device, which is equivalent to a KNX IoT digital twin that you can run on Windows. The input file for the KNX manufacturing tool, and this allows you to quickly and easily create the ETS test projects and documentation about the device. The advantage of this is a cloud-based approach, so setup is instant. There's no hassle with setting up, the development environment, and easy and quick to use, as just about everybody uses and knows GitHub. So Cascoda has built a project example, and that's the Battleship game, all built using ChiliCuisine. This allows two players to communicate wirelessly over KNX IoT. We send and receive shots, and you send and receive shot status, in other words, miss or hit. And this runs on the Cascoda development board using an e-paper display and the built-in buttons. And of course, it can all be configured by the KNX tool, ETS. We also offer in our development kit a border router for thread, but it's more than a border router. We call it the KNX IoT Hub. And this is based on the most popular router operating system, OpenWRT, that's used in millions of routers throughout the world. We provide additional KNX applications as well as the border router functionality. We provide the KNX IoT router, which routes between KNX and the net IP standard from KNX to IoT. So this is the link between KNX Twisted Pair Classic and KNX IoT. We also have a KNX IoT to MQTT proxy. MQTT is the most popular cloud-based internet protocol available. So it allows seamless cloud integration and even connectivity via a 4G cellular backhaul, and we have both an indoor and outdoor 4G antenna available to partner with this. We've also developed the KNX IoT linker. This is software that runs on the KNX IoT Hub that's similar to ETS for configuring devices, but it only works with KNX IoT, and it allows smart linking via functional blocks with no manufacturing data needed. When it comes to testing a particular KNX IoT implementation over thread, it's useful to have a packet sniffer. And packet sniffer is a tool for capturing the radio frequency traffic used by thread. It works with Wireshark. Wireshark is the most popular tool for sniffing internet protocol communication. It runs on Windows PC and with one of our Chili modules acting as a USB dongle. So it can detect and decode thread, KNX IoT, and even Zigbee on any of the thread channels. With Cascoda's industry-leading receive sensitivity of -105 dBm, this allows you to capture even the most faintest packets, and you can really understand what's going on in the network. Of course, we include decryption, so you can decrypt the network layer, in other words thread, and the application layer, KNX IoT. Easy to set up and install, and it works with any official release of Wireshark. Of course, you can look at the live packet capture or save to a file known as a PCAP file for analysis further down the line. So just as a recap of ChiliCuisine, ChiliCuisine is a complete development, low-code development environment for Cascoda's KNX IoT development kit. One input file creates the software that you need, the firmware that you need for the Chili module, a digital twin that you can run on a PC and communicate with the ETS tool, and the manufacturing tool data required for a KNX product. This vastly speeds up your development time, and of course time is money. So we believe this is a fantastic tool for manufacturers to get going with KNX IoT and quickly create efficient and fantastic products. Well, that's it from me. Feel free to contact me at Cascoda, and we look forward to working with you on this exciting journey of KNX IoT. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Bruno. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to have a low-code tool for KNX IoT. I mean, who can argue against less manual work and letting you concentrate more on what you want to accomplish? Bruno, while the audience is going to be asking some questions, can we have an example of how ChiliCuisine has been used?
Yeah, so just for a bit of fun, we tasked one of our engineers over the summer to build the Battleships game on our development boards. So they added the paper display, which is a 200 by 200 resolution display. And in about 2 days, using ChiliCuisine, built the Battleships game and got it all up and running. So we put a YouTube video of this together, and it shows also the e-paper integration and the ETS operation. So it's a nice demo that we've made. It's a bit of fun. But also we've released all the code for this on our GitHub. So anyone can buy a development kit and try this out themselves and get to know how to use it. So I'll put a link in the chat for this.
Thank you. So we have questions from the audience, and of course, people are interested in knowing about the pricing plan. I guess there, in case it's regional, maybe we should start with North America or US.
So the first point for this is to buy our development kit. So we are looking for additional distributors. So if there are any distributors of KNX products out there, please get in touch because we'd love to get this pushed out into further regions. And then the pricing very much depends on the number of products that you want to build with this. So we start off from 1 month usage, and then it's incremented in months. So We have a scale for this. It's too complicated for me to say over a chat like this. So yeah, please get in touch with us, and we'll work out something. But the first stage, as I mentioned, is to buy a development kit and get going and get comfortable with it. Then we can take you through the journey.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think, generally the first question that people want to know is it affordable? And I think what you're saying is that you have it scaled so it's affordable and it scales up to whatever you need to do the job.
Yeah, exactly. Our development kit sells for around 500 euros, maybe a little bit more in dollars. So the idea is that anyone with a corporate card can buy this, get their engineers working with it, and then we can bolt ChiliCuisine on top. And this just it's in our interest to make it affordable because we want to sell the modules. So this is a tool that helps us, allows KNX IoT, some of the complexity of KNX IoT to be taken away from the development engineers, stuff they really don't need to know about. And then it allows products to be built much, much faster and more efficiently.
The part I liked was the one input definition file that handles the software, firmware, the digital twin even, and the manufacturer's file. That sounded like a great, a very convenient, solution to something that we all need.
Yeah, and the digital twin is fantastic. In fact, the KNX technical staff use the digital twins all the time in the development of the version of ETS that's compatible with KNX IoT. So yeah, it's being widely used across the industry right now already.
I think you've answered a lot of the questions for the audience because you're offering them convenience and you're offering them a solution that the ChiliCuisine sounds like a fine dish. So thank you very much, Bruno. I'm sorry. We have another question. Can we have a digital twin to test? Is there a way you can test it with?
So you'll need to buy our development kit, but then once you do that, there are many digital twins already available on our GitHub, and yes, it works with ETS. So you'll need the ETS version 6, and if you're a KNX member, you can get the pre-released version of that. Real IP interface. Well, this works over IPv6. So your computer attached to the network has that built into it, and then you can interact with ETS6 on one computer, talking to the digital twin on another computer, or even on the same computer. So this is, as mentioned, this is being widely used by our staff and KNX staff. Oh, distributed version control system. Okay, real devices. ChiliCuisine is on GitHub, and so this is version controlled through GitHub. So if you want to guarantee repeatability, you just go back to the version that you built with. And then real devices, this is our thread, our Chili module sitting on a development board, and this is the development board. So I took the bare board here. There are a bunch of buttons, LEDs. You put the clickboards on here. USB interface. There's UART. It fits in a housing, so you can get the power up through the center, and then you can build a prototype device, test it in your desired location, whether that be in your home or in the building. And then you can move from that to your own dedicated PCB. And of course, we'll help you with the design. We've got loads of experience designing these modules in. Just as a background, Cascoda comes from more the smart city space rather than the consumer space. So these modules are used to control the streetlights in Taipei in Taiwan, for example. So yes, this widely used in more industrial and commercial environments because of our exceptional receive sensitivity, which makes a more reliable wireless link.
And there's another question whether it works with any border router or just yours.
Okay, so the thread border router is, in theory, it should work with other border routers, but we can't test every border router. So we recommend to use ours. We can't support anyone else's. So that's all I can say regarding that.
But in theory, it's thread, right?
In theory, it's thread. Yeah. I mean, the point is, with our border router, we've put dedicated tools into for KNX IoT, which makes it more straightforward. So we've got visualization and a lot of the administration tools that you would need. But yeah, it should work with any border router.
Bruno, thanks a lot for joining.
Thanks, Bob.